Chalo, we'll quickly revise Accounting Standard 2. Accounting Standard 2 is very simple. Valuation of inventory. What is inventory? Held asset held by the business in form of raw materials, WIP and finished goods. All are. It will also include spare parts, loose tools, consumables. They are also part of inventory. Guys, even the packing material will be a part of inventory only. Now, whenever you're valuing inventory, you should first divide your inventory into raw material and finished goods and WIP. Matlab finished goods and WIP valuation is one, raw materials ka valuation is one part. Raw materials ka valuation will always depend upon how you are valuing your finished goods. If the finished goods are valued at cost or above, then the raw materials will be valued at cost. But if the finished goods are valued below the cost, then raw materials will be valued at replacement cost. Clear till here? Now, finished goods and WIP should always be valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less. Now, cost में क्या क्या आएगा? Purchase price minus the trade discount. Why minus the trade discount? Because trade discount never appears in the books. Yes, cash discount will also be there, but that cash discount should always go to P&L. It will never be minus from the purchase price. Okay. Then refundable tax should not be adjusted because uska humko, we are getting the refund, right? So ultimately there is no burden on our pocket. So we should never adjust. We should only adjust non-refundable taxes. Other conversion cost and other costs should be added. Okay. Now conversion cost matlab cost of converting raw material to finished goods WIP. Clear? And other costs just transportation and all that. Okay. Now your other cost will also include overheads. Overheads are basically indirect expenses. Indirect expenses can be of two types: variable overheads and fixed overhead. Now variable overhead will always be on the per unit price. So that should be added. Production overhead or the fixed overhead should always be done on absorption rate. You have to calculate your absorption rate. See, we anticipated 1 lakh units will be there. We also produced 1 lakh units. So per unit 18. Iska matlab, in the closing stock, if I have 1000 units left remaining, then you will multiply by 18. That will be your total fixed overhead. But if you are producing lesser, then that much amount you will charge to inventory. Difference should go to P&L. But if you are producing more, then your absorption rate will change. Your absorption rate will change. Then only this much should be added to the cost of inventory. Or what I'm trying to say, if it is up to what you assumed or below what you assumed, your rate is same. The same amount should be added to the cost of inventory. But if it is above, then your rate will change and this rate should be added. Clear till here? Okay. And what is your NRV? NRV is estimated selling price minus estimated cost of completion. You remember to complete this, the shirt example I think we had taken, correct? The shirt may we still had to put the buttons, we still had to pack it, label it, correct? So still that cost will be called as cost of completion and estimated selling price. If you will have to pay any kind of commission or anything, then that will be added, that will be minus from the selling price. So this means that this is the value that we can ultimately expect out of this inventory. Clear till here? So isko bolte beta NRV. Now, what are the costs that should be excluded from the cost of inventory? Very important. Matlab they should be recognized as a expense. One, administration cost. Administration cost matlab office expenses, selling and distribution cost, your sales commission, advertisement expense, they should not be added to the cost of inventory. It should always be charged to P&L. Storage cost, unless storage is necessary. So if storage is necessary, then what you will do with it? Add to the cost of inventory. But if storage is not necessary, then you should charge it to P&L. Can you give me one example where storage is not necessary? Anger bakery, cookies. Cookies we always want to eat fresh from the oven, right? So storage is not necessary. If you will have to store your cookies in the godown, then that godown cost should be charged to P&L. Can you give me one example where storage is necessary? Fine. Fine. It takes substantial period. बहुत time लगता है ना, तो बेटा that storage cost should be added to the cost of inventory. Any abnormal waste, जैसे fire, loss by fire, employees going on strike, any abnormal waste of material, labor and overhead should always be charged to P&L. Exchange difference, if we have studied the formula in AS 11, the difference of that should be charged otherwise. And borrowing cost, guys, we have done division of borrowing cost also. If the inventory should not be on repetitive basis, it should be produced in large quantities and should take substantial period of time, then it can be okay. So borrowing cost is also a very if. Am I clear till here? Okay. And joint product में ठीक है.